Hello and welcome to my tarot corner. So it's been a rough 2 days, and not only because of what happened in Britain, but that was not easy to digest on top of everything else that I have to digest. And there are a lot of personal problems, including my daughter, including my own health problems, that a few test results that I received that were pathological, that also made me, took me down. And on top of all of this, the political state in my country, which is also deteriorating, and it also makes a lot of us depressed. And we're going out on the streets and we're doing whatever we can, but nothing really helps, and it feels like we are not being heard. So it also makes us feel, well, very down. And then this titles, the Prince and the Princess titles came up, and this also made me, I just didn't know where to put myself, and I felt exhausted, fatigued. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't listen to anyone. And the only person I did listen to was A.G. Tudor, because he made some sense. Then yesterday I listened to the beginning of Lady C's video, which, you know, there is a limited time that you can listen to someone telling you that things are happening behind the scenes, and eventually we will know things, the truth. But you know, it's hard when you don't know what happens. But then today River said something that made sense, which is that once Harry and Meghan declared the Prince and Princess titles for their children, it was impossible for the king to come out and say no, because then all of the racist claims that they made on Oprah Winfrey would become reality. And I believe that shows a big, this decision, faulty decision making by the king, by the royal family, for not amending the patent letter of King George, by not declaring the royal status of those children and of Harry and Meghan right after the Queen died. I do believe that the question of those titles was should have been settled right after the Queen died, and not wait after the coronation. I do understand why he waited, and I think it was a mistake. But now he was facing this checkmate by the Sussexes, and I don't know where it will go further. It's not a done deal, because as the Queen Margaret from Denmark could strip the prince titles from her grandchildren, so can King Charles. So I'm going to go into some topics that I was meaning to do last week, and I kept postponing it because things kept happening. And I've decided not to postpone it any longer, because it doesn't connect to the children. And last week there was an article that I will link below regarding a very curious amniotic fluid test that was done during Archie's pregnancy. Now, it didn't say anything about who was tested. It didn't say amniotic fluid taken from Meghan during her pregnancy. No, it said amniotic fluid tested during Archie's pregnancy. It wasn't on mainstream media. It wasn't on some kind of gossip site. It wasn't on Quora or someplace like that. It was on mainstream media. And it said that during that amniotic fluid test, which I'm sure did happen, and it said that it is a routine for all royal babies. And because Meghan was a geriatric mother, it is customary to do, well, it is something that is routine to do an amniocentesis to every woman who is older than 35 years old because of the danger of Down syndrome. So, and many other problems that might happen when the mother is older than 35. And she was older than 35, we all know that. So I'm sure there was an amniocentesis, and actually I'm sure that Catherine went through an amniocentesis as well. What that article said is that during that amniocentesis, they came up the question of Harry's paternity, which raised the question of why should they test for paternity on an amniocentesis, because this is not a routine test. And then the article said that Harry was, obliged to do a paternity test after Archie was born to prove his paternity. That raises the question, maybe it wasn't the right amniotic fluid because it wasn't taken from Meghan, because Meghan wasn't pregnant, because someone else was pregnant and there was a mix-up. I don't know what really happened there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some kind of a gypsy-like reading. Now, gypsy readings are usually done, usually are done with 21 cards, which there are 7 cards for the past, 7 cards for the present, and 7 cards for the future. But it is something that has to be for a long period of time. And here we don't have even 7 years. So I'm not going to do the traditional gypsy reading. I'm going to take 7 cards, in which 3 cards will show us the pregnancy, 1 card is for the birth, and then 3 cards for the postnatal period after Archie was born. Then I will do another reading for Lilibet and the mysteries around Lilibet's birth as well. And then I'm going to look into Frogmore Cottage as well, because there is question regarding Frogmore Cottage and whether or not that was something that was a ruse or not, was it a scam or not. So I'm going to look into it. And in gypsy readings, usually it's more about the intuition. It's not so much about the psychological interpretation of the cards. So I'm using a deck that is dark in the feel of it, but it's a Rider-Waite clone. It's the Heaven on Earth Tarot. And because I think that it's important not to enter too much of different vibes into the cards and not look for intuition that comes from other creators, so I'm using this tarot deck. So just before I start, please take a few moments to read my full disclaimer in the description box. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such, may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourselves. So I'm going to clear the deck. Okay, so what I'm doing next is I'm going to ask the universe to align the cards in the right way to answer questions regarding Archie's pregnancy, birth, and postnatal period. So, asking, sorry, start over. Please align the cards to answer correctly regarding Archie's Mountbatten Windsor pregnancy, amniotic fluid test, birth, and postnatal period of life. Answer correctly regarding Archie Mountbatten Windsor postnatal pregnancy, amniotic fluid test, birth, and postnatal period. Please align the cards in the correct way to answer correctly regarding Archie Mountbatten Windsor pregnancy, amniotic fluid test, birth, and postnatal period. Okay, so let's cut the cards, and I'm taking the middle card, the middle pack, because this is usually the present, and I'm talking about the current 7 years. So I'm taking 7 cards, and let's see how it goes. I'm hoping to get this coherent story from these cards that will allow me to extract a story, and this is why I changed the angle of the camera so you can see the cards one by another, and I'm opening the cards now, and I will speak about them one by another. Just now, remember, we have the Queen of Swords of Wands here, but it came in the upside down, so I'm leaving it in the upside down. Just remember, this is the Queen of Wands. We have the Devil here. This was the Sun. We have here the Hierophant, but it's in the reverse. And we have the Princess of Cups in the reverse and the Moon in the reverse. So this is very interesting. Remember, this is, okay, I just took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one more card here, and this is another reversed card. It is the 5 of Wands. Now, I am going to take these cards and just flip them, but just remember that some of them came in the reverse. I'm flipping them because they are all badly aspected by the Devil that came up here, okay? And the Hierophant is the card that speaks about the birth. So I'm putting it maybe up here like this. I'm going to check just how it looks in the camera so it is visible and that all of the cards are seen in the okay, like this. Okay, so now looking at the prenatal time. Okay, so we're seeing this is the card of the conception, and this is a card of a father and a son. This is a card of a baby that is being created. Once again, I am talking about not the psychological interpretation of the cards. Right now, I am talking intuition mostly, and the interpretation of the tarot as I see it. But I'm using the psychological interpretation as well. But once again, mostly here is the the intuition. So here, this is a major arcana card, and it is about father and son. It is about conception. This is the card of conception, but there is no mother here. So the conception here is of Harry creating this child. We don't see a mother here. This is not a family. This is a father and a son. This is not, there is no mother here. The mother comes in here, and she's the Queen of Wands. This is Meghan. Meghan usually is the Queen of Wands, the egotistical queen, the one who cares only about herself. But remember, she came in the reverse, which is only showing us that she is not really the one who carries that child. If we're looking at both of them together, she is the mother, but she is in the reverse. So in the prenatal time, we see that Archie was created probably with Harry's sperm, but Meghan was not carrying him. She was the mother probably, but she wasn't part of this conception, or this. She was probably the mother genetically, but she wasn't part of this pregnancy. And this is why she came in the reverse. And now we get to the devil, and I think that the devil here represents the amniotic fluid test that I was talking about, because I asked specifically about the amniotic fluid test. And this is a card of darkness, of lies, of deceit. And I believe that this amniotic fluid test probably was taken from a surrogate, or was supposed to be taken from a surrogate, and probably there was a mix-up, and probably that was the reason why Harry's paternity was in question. So that was the reason that the lies are here, the deceit is here. This is part of the whole part of the pregnancy. We can see here that in the pregnancy, it is all about lies, deceit, and the deceit here is not only of the father and the mother. Now, usually when we're talking about gypsy readings, we're looking for a father figure and a mother figure, and the father figure can be they can be either major arcanas or court cards, and here the father figure is the son, and the mother figure is the Queen of Wands. And even if we get other father figures or mother figures going back in the rest of the cards, the first ones are the ones who are the father and the mother figures. So these are the father and the mother figures, and it is very fitting that the father figure is the spiritual card, because Harry did not actually participate in creating Archie. He just gave the sperm. So that was all outside of his actual doing, and she was there in the reverse because she actually did not carry Archie. So, but she's not even in the spiritual realm because she's not a spiritual person, and she was all egotistical. So this is why she was pretending to be pregnant. It is all about her fire. This is all about her need to show people that she is pregnant. It is all about her extravagance. It's all about her showing people that she is what she's not. So this is part of the reason why she was so, she had to show the world that she is pregnant, but it's all a lie. It was all a lie, and that is why even before Archie was born, we get the devil. And then we come to the birth. And it's very interesting because right after the devil come the Hierophant. And I always tell you that behind every Hierophant, there's a devil looming. And just see the differences between those two. There is a very there is a lot of similarity between the devil and the Hierophant. Both of them are sitting on a throne. Both of them have two people standing in front of them. Both of them have symbols behind them. So there is a lot of similarities between the Hierophant and the devil. And the big difference is that the Hierophant is representative of the light, while the devil is the representative of the darkness. But behind every devil there is a Hierophant looming, and behind every Hierophant there is a devil looming, and that is why this is number 5, this is number 15, and you can see the similarities. And when you're looking at these two cards, these wings are the equivalent of these two, well, how do you say that? Pillars. It's amazing how sometimes the really simple words are just elapsing my mind. So the two pillars here are just the equivalent of the devil's wings. So there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. And the Hierophant is representative of Archie's birth. So why is that? So first of all, this is a sacred time when a child is born to the world. A child is being accepted to the world. A new soul is born. So I would say that this dove here represents that soul, and you know that always there is when you're talking about intuition, you always have to look at the things that are catching your eye, and the dove was the first thing that caught my eye. Apart from the Star of David that always catches my eyes, so I don't pay attention to that because I always see the stars of David. So this is not something that unusual for me, but the dove was the first thing that I saw, and I thought to myself, this is the Hierophant that is pointing the new soul that has come. And the Hierophant is also a representative of the church, and that was the queen at the time. So this was also, it also shows us the participation of the royal family. So the royal family knew, the royal family was part of it. The royal family gave its seal of approval, and this is like the seal of approval. So this was not kept hidden from the royal family, at least not all the time. I don't know when exactly was the time that the royal family discovered it. Probably not from the beginning. Probably after the amniocentesis, when things came to light that there is something that is not right here, and that probably caused the royal family to question the pregnancy, and that caused the Sussexes to admit that this pregnancy is by a surrogate, not by the Queen of Wands. So then the royal family didn't have a choice but to approve, but to play along. So here we see that the birth was something that was part of what the royal family was. Part of the royal family, part of what the queen was. The queen gave it a seal of approval. Whether she liked it or not, it was something that she had to do at that time. So that is why Archie's birth is symbolized like this. And then we get to the Princess of Cups. And the Princess of Cups, that is the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups, that is the artist, that is the person which has a lot of problems, mental health problems. Here kicks in all of the mental health problems and a lot of other problems as well. And here it's also the artist. He is the artist, so also he comes in here, in my opinion, Meghan's ability to act. And I think that here we see Meghan acting as if she gave birth, gaining weight so people wouldn't ask questions, looking puffy, trying to make the world believe that she has given weight. I think that the first time that they showed Archie to those photographers, Harry trying to act as if he is holding a baby that is really a few days old and not a doll. Probably he was holding a doll. So a lot of acting, and this is what happened at the first at the first few weeks after Archie was born, and even at the first months after Archie was born, a lot of acting. And if you remember, we're getting into the time when they went to Africa and they started talking about their mental health, and then the moon comes here. Now remember, these cards came in the upside down. These cards are badly aspected, but these cards are bad as it is. The moon is a card of mental health problems. So all of these mental health, and I believe that this is about Harry's mental health. This is about Meghan putting in Harry's mind a lot of her difficulties, trying to persuade him that Archie is in danger, that she's in danger, trying to make him believe that if they are going to stay in the royal family, something will happen to them. And the moon card is even more ominous, because in the moon card we see this crab that is going in this very mysterious way behind those pillars, and we don't know what is behind those pillars. And there are those two dogs, and sometimes it's even monsters that are here, and the moon is representative of the mother. So here we see how Meghan has persuaded Harry that, first of all, she's the reincarnation of his mother, but also that they are on their way to a very ominous place, that staying in the royal family is something that is obscure. It's going to harm them as a family. It's going to harm the child. And probably playing on the fact that the truth about the birth of Archie might come out if they stay in the royal family. And I think that this is one of the main reasons, and that she managed to persuade Harry to leave. All of these acting, it was acting to the world, but it was acting even between Harry and Meghan. Those are acting. She was, utilizing her acting skills to promote the ideas and to install the ideas inside Harry's mind that all of this might come out if they stay in the royal family. That if they stay in the royal family, their route is going to be very, very ominous, that they might have to cross these pillars, that they will be going to a very ominous place. This is what she was trying to tell him. And then we get to the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands also came in the reverse, but it doesn't really matter. It is badly aspected because it came right after the moon, because there is the devil here. And the Five of Wands, that is the card that speaks about wait a minute, just let me make sure this is, it speaks about achieving victory if you are getting the let's say if you're getting, this is the psychological interpretation, achieving victory if you are getting unconventional help. And this is what Meghan managed to convince Harry. We are on our way to ruin. If we're not leaving, if we are staying, this is where we are going. I will not be able to stand that. Everything is going to collapse. Everything is going to go to be in a very bad place. We're going to end in a very bad place. The only way to get any kind of victory is if we are getting an unconventional help. And the unconventional help is to go away, to leave. And this is about burning all the bridges. This is how I see it. And once again, because I'm talking about intuition here and not only about the psychological interpretation, the fire element here is very, very strong. So this is about Meghan convincing Harry that the only way not to end up behind those pillars, not to end up in a very bad place, not to end up in a way that, and it's all connected to Archie's birth. It's all connected to the lies around the pregnancy and the fact that the royal family had to have found out about it. I'm not sure that if the royal family hadn't found about it, we would have seen the same results. But the royal family did find out about it, and this is why it had to end up like this. Why it had to end up in burning all bridges. This is about unnecessary quarrels. This is about getting into power struggles. This is about disrespecting others. This is about ego problems. This is about all of the things that are just all of the bad ways of going of receiving the bad ways of help. This is inability to understand the really hardships of life, and this is being unable to receive the right kind of help. This is about burning everything. This is what she wanted. Now, I don't think that it would have happened if the royal family hadn't found out about the pregnancy. So I think that what Lady C wanted to say, and when maybe she's trying to hint about all the time, is that there was a time that the royal family found out about the pregnancy, and it was probably through that amniotic test that the pregnancy is not being carried by Meghan. And when they found out about that, they had to carry on, and they couldn't come out with the truth. They had to let them have Archie and to give that the seal of truth, but they knew that in time it will have to come out. And in order to prevent that from happening, Meghan started putting the seeds of her unhappiness during the pregnancy, when she started saying that she's unwell, that she's suicidal. That wasn't in the beginning of the pregnancy. That wasn't during, for example, the Australian tour. It just started at the end of the pregnancy or in the middle of the pregnancy, after the amniocentesis. Amniocentesis is usually done on the 21st to 23rd weeks of pregnancy. That is in the middle of the pregnancy. Pregnancy is usually for 40 weeks. So after the amniocentesis was done, this was found out, and this is my belief, once again, allegedly, according to the cards, they found out. They had to agree for it for the time being, but she knew that, that it will have to come out eventually. The truth will have to come out eventually, and the only way for her to convince Harry that that they need to leave was to do a lot of acting to the world that she was pregnant, to Harry that she's having a lot of mental health problems, increasing Harry's mental health problems, increasing his problems regarding his mother, increasing his fears, increasing his problems with self-assurance, with self-confidence. All of these things were done after Archie was born and when she was afraid that the truth might come out. And then letting him understand that the only way is to go away, to find a way to burn everything behind them, to leave a scorched earth behind them. So that is the truth about Archie's birth. Okay, I think that the only thing that I can do now is Lilibet, pregnancy, birth, and I will leave Frogmore Cottage for another reading. So let's shuffle the cards once more. Well, I've decided to take off the gloves today. I'm not, I know that it is not the smartest thing to do. Everything is allegedly, it is vibrational, it is open to discussion and to all of the other things that you know regarding tarot. So let's clear the deck again. Sorry, cards went all over the place. Let's clear them again. Okay, so please align the cards correctly to give me the right answers regarding Lilibet, conceptions, and her pregnancy and the birth of Lilibet, Mountbatten, Windsor. Please align the cards correctly to give me the right answers regarding the conception, the birth, the pregnancy, and the birth, and the postnatal period of Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. Please align the cards correctly to give me the right answers regarding Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor, her conception, her birth, her pregnancy, and postnatal period. Once more. Please align the cards in the right way to answer correctly the questions regarding the conception, the pregnancy, birth, and natal period of Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. Okay. Okay. Cutting it in the middle, taking the middle cards and taking out 7 cards once again. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm just opening them. A lot of cups here. A lot of cups here. A lot of emotions. Okay. So, starting with and it's interesting to see that the birth card came out in the reverse, and the deck was in the upright. So, if cards came in the reverse, it's because they wanted to come in the reverse. So, in the gypsy readings, I'm looking at the cards in the reverse position. And when I'm looking at the cards, I'm looking at the conception, and the conception is the Three of Cups, which is the happiness of creating new life. And this is a great card because it shows that they were happy. It's like the bringing together the manhood and the womanhood, bringing together all of the necessary elements to create life. So this is how this card looks to me, like the Three of Nymphs that are bringing together the cups. And if you're looking at, or if you know how in vitro fertilization looks like, it very much looks the same. It's very much similar. It's like taking a cup with the eggs in it and taking another cup with the sperm in it and just mixing them together and waiting for the embryos to be created. And in other occasions, when they think that the embryos cannot be created in a natural way, there are other options of taking the sperm and injecting it into the one egg, which is also a possibility. My children, for example, were created this way. But anyway, the Three of Cups represents conception. So conception was made, and this card shows that the conception was not natural. It was done by outside, in vitro, by other people. So it wasn't something that was done by two people. We see here at least three people, which could be Harry, Meghan, and the doctor, or could be Harry, Meghan, and the surrogate. But it wasn't something that was just a private affair of two people, okay? So we can see here the Three Cups as representative of the sperm, the egg, and the womb of the woman who accepted that, the embryo. So this is how I see the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups for me as a conception card, once again, as the intuition talks, it is talking about in vitro and about implanting an embryo in a different womb, because it's the Three of Cups, because we see here three people, not two, and there are three people equally involved. So equally giving an equal part. So if the one gives the egg, one gives the sperm, one gives the womb. And then we are going to the period of the actual pregnancy. And if you remember, we haven't seen Meghan much in that period. The only time we saw her actually pregnant was during the Oprah Winfrey interview. So this is a time of fantasy. So all of the pregnancy period was a fantasy. It is all about smoking mirrors. And usually the Seven of Cups is a card of dreams that can become true. Once again, in the gypsy reading, I am putting aside many of the psychological interpretation, and I'm looking at the more of the intuitional interpretation as the way the cards look to me. And here we don't see a man that is holding the cloud of cups with all of the options in it. We see a woman with a long hair, and this represents Meghan to me. This represents the smoke and mirrors that she put in the eyes of everyone, that trying to emulate that she is pregnant, trying to show the world that she's such a wonderful and a sorry person, and that she wasn't treated well by the royal family when she was in the Oprah Winfrey interview, using makeup to emulate Diana, using all sorts of... She was trying to gain points of sympathy from the world. She was trying to... This was her attempt to get her dreams come true by putting smoke, by putting a lot of fantasies. This is a lot of spreading a lot of lies, spreading a lot of fantasies, as a lot of people see the Seven of Cups as the gaslighting card. And in this instance, I see this card as a gaslighting card. So this is a card that shows that during this, the time of the pregnancy, Meghan was gaslighting the whole world. Not only she was gaslighting the whole world, trying to make the world believe that she is pregnant, that she is carrying another child, that she is everything that she was trying to emulate in the Oprah interview. Now, it's not a coincidence that we get the Chariot right after the Seven of Cups, because these two cards both are talking about getting your dreams come true. The Chariot is the major arcana that speaks about going out to get your dreams come true no matter what, even if it means war, even if it means to destroy everything and everyone that is in your way. You are going out there. Now, the Chariot card is not a bad card usually. It's not a terrible card. But once again, when we are combining things and we are seeing a woman that is gaslighting the world to believe that she is pregnant and she will do anything to get her dreams come true, and she has a lot of fantasies here, and then we get the Chariot that is also an anima card. It speaks about destructive relationships, and we see that that Harry, she is a destructive person. She is causing Harry to be in a destructive place. He is destructive. He is being a destructive person to himself by using drugs, by all sorts of things. So a person that is in a good relationship, a person that is in a good place, doesn't need to use so many drugs, doesn't need to run away. So, but the Chariot is about a person that will go to every place, will go into quarrels, into disagreement, into wars. This is a person that will do whatever it takes to reach what she wants to reach. So this is about running up, and this is about using every armor, every weapon that she can in order to achieve what she wants to achieve. So during that pregnancy, this was all about achieving what she wanted to achieve, achieving her dreams, getting her dreams a reality. Remember, she's now out of the royal family. She's now in the US. This is about a lot of dreams that she had. This is about a lot of things that she wanted to achieve, and she thought that this pregnancy was part of the way to achieve that. She had a lot of fantasies in her mind. She used a lot of smoke and a lot of gaslighting to persuade the world that she is a person that should be taken seriously, a person that should be given all sorts of contracts like Netflix, like Spotify. Just remember the time when it all happened, because it all happened during that time when they actually were living in the U.S. and they were trying to to get more and more contracts, to get more and more people to trust them. So this is about going out there and getting whatever she can. So this is why she did it. This was part of what she did. She didn't care about the child. And this is why when the time of the birth comes, we get the Four of Wands, but in the reverse. The Four of Wands is a card of the happy family usually. It is a card of when usually the Four of Wands we see a family of four people. Here we don't see this family of four people. We just see the Four of Wands, because the family is not important. Because for Meghan, the family is not really important. It is a mean to an end. And the Four of Wands here is not about enjoying. Usually the Four of Wands is about going out on a victory quest, but enjoying the road. She's not enjoying the road. It's not about enjoying the road for her. It's about getting that victory. And for her, the birth of Lilibet was another victory. This was for her another V. This was not about a happy family. This was not about getting that family. She is impatient. She is not satisfied from what she got up until that moment. And she is over self-confident. And she was, and at this time, we can see that, first of all, because it's in the reverse, it's not something that was a real thing, because this birth was not their birth. It was not it was not Meghan's birth, was not Harry's birth. So it was not something. Well, it's not a coincidence that Harry wrote in his book that they went to the delivery room and had this feast of food. Because when you go to the delivery room to give birth, you're not eating, because you cannot eat. But if you're going there to receive a baby that someone else is giving birth to, then you can eat as much as you want. This is exactly what happened, and this is why the Four of Wands is in the reverse. This is not about getting the happy family. This is not about going home and being happy. This is about achieving one more victory. This is another achievement that she can put a V on. So this is what happened during the birth. And then right after the birth comes the Ace of Cups in the reverse. And the Ace of Cups is a very emotional card. So, a baby was born, everyone should be happy. This is about flow, this is about renewal, this is about everything should be happy. This card should be in the upright. This should be a great card, the happiness that flows all around, but it's in the reverse. So why is it in the reverse? Because when it's in the reverse, there is no belief, there is fear, there is a feeling of inability to act inability to act because you're acting without logic. This is about feeling that your emotions needs to be controlled because you're afraid. And what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? So you're afraid of the truth coming out. So your happiness is controlled. You cannot show the happiness in a very in a very public way. There was no photo op, there was no big announcement, there was nothing really that showed happiness. And if you remember, right after the only time that we saw Lilibet after she was born was in a Christmas card. There were no beautiful pictures of Harry and Meghan holding their beautiful baby. Nothing. Why? Why aren't you so proud in your beautiful baby? Why aren't you showing some happiness? Why isn't there? Why are you controlling everything? Why are you controlling your happiness? Because you're afraid. Because this card shows fear. This card shows that they are afraid the truth might come out. It shows that they are unable to show their feelings because everything needs to be under control. So the feelings cannot flow like they do in the Ace of Cups. They need to be controlled. And then we get the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, that is the queen that usually is the one who cares about everyone, cares about the environment, the one that is going out on fights for social responsibility. This is the archetype queen. This is the archetype podcast. This is what Meghan did during the archetype podcast. There is no mention of the child here. Lilibet is not important. There is no Lilibet. There is no child here. There is not a care for the child here. This is about Meghan going on to show the world her care for the needy and her care for social things. And this is about her career. So this is what the Queen of Swords is, the career woman, and this is what she did after Lilibet was born. So not being a mother, this is not about being a mother. She doesn't care to be a mother. She doesn't want to be a mother. This is not about being a mother. This is about, I want to get my dreams a reality. This is what I want to do. This is what I care about. I don't care about the child. I don't care about this. This is not what I care about. This is what I care about. I care about the child. I care about the career. I care about my dreams. I want my dreams becoming a reality. So this is what I want. And then comes the Five of Cups, which is the big disappointment. And the biggest disappointment is not only on the failure of archetypes and the failure of other things, it's also about the child. And I believe that there is something wrong with Lilibet. I've seen it in previous readings. I believe that Lilibet is not not a healthy child. Something is wrong with her. Maybe it is in the physical realm. I don't know. Maybe it is a autistic disorder. I don't know what it is. Something is wrong with her, and this is the big disappointment. And here she is unable to see the good sides of what she does have. She's seeing all the things that she doesn't have, and this is about the failure of her career, the failure of archetype, the failure of everything that she's been trying to achieve, and also the disappointment about the child that was supposed to be a poster child and is not. And I don't think that we will see much of Lilibet from now on. The fact that they decided to call Lilibet a princess, that will not mean that we will start seeing more of her or of Archie. And the reason is the disappointment. That is what I believe. And if you remember, the Royal Grift, when she did a big expose on the Netflix documentary, she proved there that the children that they showed on the Netflix documentary were not always the same children, and she believed that some of the children were actors. And I have to say that I agree with her. I believe that something is wrong with at least Lilibet, maybe both of the children, but at least Lilibet, because 3 cups here are fallen, and we know that at least archetype archetypes has failed completely. Netflix, like commentary, didn't get a big reviews, but did succeed in matter of views. And the two other cups could be Archie and Lilibet that have problems. So I believe that the children do have problems, and that is part of the reason why we haven't seen them, part of the reason why they didn't take the children with them to any of the polo matches, part of the reason why Rebel Wilson's mother got the cold shoulder when she asked Meghan, where are your children, or how are your children? This is part of the reason. I believe that the children are a big disappointment for Meghan, who expected them to be the perfect poster children. Someone said that now we will see them merging the children, and we will see them as models in for children clothing. I highly doubt that. Okay, so Dark Mirror, the darkest oracle that I have for now. Still couldn't get well, now I forgot the name of it. Mildred Payne cards. And I had a problem in getting the money from the buy me a coffee, but it did turn out okay, so I will get that soon. Anyway, so I'm starting with the Oracle deck. It's advice for us on dealing with everything that is going on. So how can we deal with everything that is going on with the British royal family, with the prince and princess titles? What can we do? The card that I'm getting is Fated to Suffer. Let's see what the message is. Put it here. Okay, so the message of this card is really complicated. It is a card that shows us this image that could be seen as Snow White getting the apple from the witch. But what it tells us that it isn't necessarily the truth, and that if we know the future, it could confine us, and it could be detrimental to us. What it says is it's about what you can do and what you can't do, what you are worth and what you aspire to. It's about what you like and what you want, what you hold dear. It creates a script which becomes as strong as all the voices that believe that script combined. So much that you cannot see another path. So what it says is that if we are confining ourselves to one belief or one way, then we cannot see other paths. So it is calling us to open our minds to other views, other ways of seeing things, so we will not be fated to suffer. So the main let's say the main message of this card is not to believe everything that we see that it has to be. It doesn't have to be that that this is a witch. She doesn't have to be Snow White, or it doesn't have to be that she's as naive as it seems, and the apple doesn't have to be a poison apple. So don't believe everything that you see, because if you believe everything that you see or everything that you are told, then you are confined to one way of seeing things, and then you are fated to suffer. The way to avoid this is to be open to other ways of seeing things. And I think that this is what we're doing when we are doing the readings. We are trying to see things in other ways and not only the way that people want us to believe that they are. So this is it for this reading, and I will do the frogmore reading later, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next one. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, share the video. And I'm so happy that Prince Edward got the Duke of Edinburgh title. I did predict it a long time ago, and I'm happy that this prediction did come true. Okay, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Rosie came to say hi. Hey, say hi. Say hi. Want to say hi? She just came to say hi. רוצה להגיד שלום? מיצי, רוצה להגיד שלום? תגידי שלום. תגידי שלום. היי, תגידי שלום. תגידי שלום. תגידי שלום. רוצה לשכב כאן? Okay, this is her favorite place now. Now she's going to sit there. Okay, so in this note, in this very, very cute note, I'm saying goodbye. Bye.